Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission, a podcast talking all things mental health and wellness in the Burg, brought to you by...
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.
Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission Podcast. My name is Angela Rivers, and today I'm here with Maureen Bartosh, the owner of 2530 Espresso. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so nice to have you here. Thank you. So you know what? I recently learned about you being the owner. I've visited 2530 numerous times. I'm a big coffee lover, but I'd love to just start off by, where did 2530 begin and what was the vision?
Well, it began 15 years ago, and actually before that, but we opened in 2007. The design was to support commuters. My husband's a commuter and would complain about not being able to have coffee, and this is pre-Starbucks, there was one Starbucks in town. And pre-Dunkin', all those sorts of things. But the commuters, there was approximately 1,200 that would get on the train every morning, and they had no place to, chill, use the bathroom, and get a cup of coffee. So we looked into it. We had some roadblocks, but most of the way it was wide open doors. And so we launched it in December of 2007. Primarily just for the commuter. We actually closed our doors at 10 a.m. back in those days, because we opened at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And as I would be there working and doing stuff, people would keep coming to the door. And so we extended hours. And at one point we were open till 8 at night. So we would have commuters in the morning and then commuters in the evening coming home, as well as people who really appreciated coffee coming through the day and chilling with us during the day.
Yeah, and now you have 2 locations, correct?
We do. A year ago, we opened at the Spotsylvania Merchant Square, just off Courthouse Road, and that's been great. We've had a great reception from that area. We do things a little bit different as far as hours and things like that go, but overall it's the same.
Is the vision behind the Spotsy location also for commuters? Is it
No.
still like that now in Fredericksburg?
Commuters went away when COVID went away.
Yeah.
Or when COVID started. And they really haven't come back yet, although we are seeing an increase in traffic for that. But no, Spotsy is definitely like a destination kind of place, just to come hang out, have coffee. We have an in-house pastry chef, so there's lots of goodies all the time.
Yeah.
It's got a completely different vibe than Downtown House.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to have something out that way.
It really is, because there really isn't anything.
No, but it's up and coming, I think.
Oh, yes. The development in that area is going crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that part of the reason to go to that location as it's up and coming? Or did you say, we already have a Fredericksburg location, let's move out to Spotsylvania? Or
we have actually looked at that location for years.
Yeah.
And it was just not developed enough by then. A little over a year ago, we looked at it again. And we saw all the apartments in there and other businesses, and the other businesses were doing well. And we said, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
We won't be blank slate. We'll be growing, and it has been. Every month we've increased.
That's so great.
Yeah. And I love it out there. It's quieter and chiller.
Yeah, definitely. And then your business is also family owned. So it's you, your husband, and then you have daughters that help you as well?
3 daughters.
Yeah.
That's been a fun experience. Lots of memories.
Yeah.
The twins were 10 when we opened, and my oldest was 17.
Wow.
So my oldest would come in the morning and work until 7:30, and then head to high school. The twins eventually were homeschooled because they wouldn't do what they were told and get ready for school for their sister. So we did homeschool through middle school, and that was kind of cool. There's lots of cubbies in the building, and they would find a cubby and do their homework. And but every morning, one of them, it's kind of hard to explain. We originally had the register in the middle of the room, and that was designed to get commuters in and out really fast.
Yeah.
And that was great for a while, but then at a certain point, it just didn't work anymore. But one of the girls would be on register that morning, and they would get very attached to different customers, and the customers would get attached to them. They are pretty identical, and so occasionally a customer would not realize who they were talking to, and there'd be a little bit of a mix-up, so that was always fun. Yeah, so Spencer, my oldest, is back with me now. She left for a while, moved back to Arizona, where we're from, and she came back, and she pretty much does all of our marketing now. Roasting, a lot of the roasting. She's got a palate that is really, really good, and so I use her advice a lot on our roasting. I'm sure she'll leave at some point. I'm not sure when. One of the twins, Madison, she just left me about a year ago, and she did the marketing prior to that. Super creative, super fun. And of course, it's bagging coffee and washing floors and cleaning bathrooms. So yeah, it's definitely a family operation.
And it's a passion of yours too.
Very much
so. It makes it all those things, that to the listener might be, oh, that's so mundane to clean the floors, but it's part of the everyday. It's what makes it work. It's why you get up in the morning.
Yes, it is. And when you're getting up at 3,
you have to have a reason.
You definitely have to have a reason. And the kids never once complained, I am so blessed.
And all the memories, I bet it's so nice to think about all those different times as they were growing up and to reflect on that as well.
Yeah. Halloween and costumes and Christmas and decorating and just interactions with special customers and lots of great memories.
And what was downtown like 15 years ago? I mean, it's very different than it is today, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. For one, it was just Hyperion and us at that time. Now we have, 5 or 6 different coffee options. I don't know, not that it was better or worse. I can't say
just
that.
Different.
Just different. Yeah.
Yeah. And what makes your business so unique is that you support women-owned coffee farms. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. How did that begin?
So about 3 years ago, we decided that we would start doing our own roasting. One of my absolutes was that we have really good coffee. So when kids were young and business was just getting started, it wasn't the time to be roasting our own. That's a whole nother, endeavor. And so we decided, it's time. So we bought a state-of-the-art roaster, and it's computerized so that in roasting, generally it takes a person to master the machine, and in order to have consistent flavored coffee over and over. This machine takes that out and will repeat a roast identical every time. So once we create the recipe, which has to be done, so we may roast coffee anywhere from 3 to 5 times in different ways to create the best coffee. Once we nail it on what we want, then that recipe is programmed in. It also has 0 emissions, so it's great for the environment. We recycle the grounds. People take them home for the garden. But prior to that, I got involved with a foundation. I'm going to mess it up. International Women's Coffee Alliance.
Okay.
And in going to their meetings, I learned some of the plights of women in coffee, and I was blown away. You know, you just don't think about it.
No.
You know, you drink your coffee. It came from somewhere, a store or retail operation, and that's all you think about. But when I found out that women didn't get their same price, that was a big thing for me. Found out that women, when they're taking their bags to the co-op to sell to an importer or whatever, exporter, importer, they would be robbed, beaten. On the farms, you know, we're talking big agricultural areas up in the mountains, abuse, rape, just a lot of things were happening and are happening to these women. And then if you get into countries that have been at war, genocide, men have been gone. You know, they've been taken into war to fight the battles. Entire villages annihilated. So what was left was women who had to support their families, you know, the children, the grandparents, all those sorts of things. And even the whole farm workers, you know, it was their job to provide for them. So it made it very challenging for these women. And if you're not getting paid a decent wage at market, then that's doubly hard.
Yeah.
So we aligned ourselves with a foundation called Café Femenino. And they do worldwide now, but in the beginning they were pretty much South America. We pay a little bit extra for our coffee as a green bean coffee, and then we give back a percentage. Well, it's not even a percentage, it's whatever we want, to the women farmers. Through the Rappahannock Rotary, we've been able to fund 3 grants. So a farmer can send in a grant application, it's posted, and then different coffee companies, anybody can fund the grant. So we've done what's called a wash station. So they bring in their green beans and it's washed and pulped and gotten ready to be exported. The wash station was in disrepair. Now this is a women-owned co-op, so it's not as big as, you know, some. There are some really big ones, but these are small village kind of things. And so we assisted in the finance of the repair of that. Then 2 other grants that they did was beekeeping as a secondary income. And so this was wonderful in my mind because they are allowed to have, you know, we all want to diversify our income.
Right.
And to give them an opportunity to do this. So this is done in microloans. And so they're given a case of bees and education seminars on how to take care of them, get the honey, the royal jelly, anything else that comes out of the bee business. Plus those bees pollinate the coffee plants. So it's a win-win. And then after 2 years, those loans are transferred over to other farmers. So it is an ongoing blessing to, you know, whoever is applying for those things.
Yeah. And how do you feel like it's going to grow? You know, you started with however many farms. Do you think it's going to be more farms that you can support, or?
It is, yes. And, you know, it's the same old thing. The need is always there. And, you know, we're not going to change the world overnight.
Right.
So it's an ongoing thing where my passion is to educate. So there's a lot. I mean, there's so much in coffee. There's so much in how it's grown, how it's washed, how it's fermented, to change the quality in the flavor of the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
The better the quality flavor, the higher price you get.
Right.
So if we can educate people who don't have access to that education, have no idea,
Mm-hmm.
then eventually, within a few years, their coffee plants will be better and they will get more money for their crops, so that over time,
Mm-hmm.
their incomes will increase.
Is there I mean, I'm sure this statistic isn't even one that you can say, but how many women farms are there? I mean, do you know? Or a lot? Yeah.
Yeah, not as many as, of course, men, but no, women, there's a lot of women-owned farms.
Yeah, because people don't realize all the ins and outs of coffee. You
Mhm.
know, they do. They just drink it and they just go about their day. And
Right.
I mean, I love coffee, and I never even sat down to think about all the particulars in it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
It
and
is.
It's really great that you're able to do that.
Yeah. I think everybody wants to make a difference in their lifetime, and this is mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And do you think that, as your business continues, your daughters will continue the tradition? Or
I think one will.
yeah.
Yeah, I think my oldest will stay in the coffee business. She really flourished. She compete. So coffee has competitions. And,
It does.
It does. So there's barista competitions, and then there's brewing competitions.
So fun.
And then there's roasting competitions. So she, when she was younger, would compete in the barista and the coffee brewing competitions. And it's like a sponge. Everything goes in her brain, and then she can rattle it out. And yeah, she's gifted for it. So
Were your parents entrepreneurs as well?
no.
Didn't know how far back.
Maybe a tiny bit, but no. My father worked for a bank, and my mother worked for an insurance company. So,
So not coffee business.
no, or anything related.
Yeah, but
They
it's
drank
neat.
Folgers.
Oh, there you go.
Instant.
It's neat though to see it. If your daughter takes it over one day, it would
Yeah.
be so neat to keep that tradition alive.
It would. Yes,
Yeah.
it very much would.
And you just recently launched a new brew. It's called Mo Brew, correct?
Right. So it's not actually a brew. It is
Okay.
a online subscription service.
Okay.
It's to get your coffee delivered to your home or your office. And you can order it weekly, monthly, however works for you, however much coffee you drink.
Mhm.
And you can either select what you'd like, or you can go with roaster's choice. And then, we have, I don't know, right now, 10 plus different coffees to choose from. I want to say all of them are organic right at the moment. That's what we strive for, but occasionally we can't get it.
Mhm.
They're all women-owned farm, so you're drinking coffee that's going to help support somebody else.
Mhm.
And we're looking forward to that really growing and becoming a real vessel to support the foundations that we're hoping we can fund money through.
And then it's delivered?
Oh yeah, straight to your home.
Wow.
Or
So
office.
is it via UPS?
Mhm.
Do you deliver
Yeah.
it yourself?
No, through UPS.
You never know.
Yeah. If somebody called me, maybe I would. I'm desperate.
Yeah.
During COVID, we would occasionally get a call. Will you deliver?
Aw.
You know?
And how has COVID changed things, like besides the commuters?
Well, it made everything challenging.
Mhm.
We had no seating, limited seating, outdoor seating. So, we were constantly fluxing.
Mhm.
We have a walk-up window, which was very good for us. You didn't have to come inside, but yet you could still get whatever you wanted.
Mhm.
We also have our own app, so you can go on your phone and download the 2530 Espresso app and have it ready and just swing by. And of course, we do Uber and that sort of thing. So yes, you can get coffee in a multitude of ways now, but COVID was just bad for everybody. So I'm very proud of any business that is still
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've learned things.
Oh,
through
yes.
that.
Streamline. You know what? You just get very resourceful. You know, having not been able to get things, plastic cups. There's been so many things that we've had to like scramble to try and find and or do without. So yeah, I'll be glad when that's back to normal again.
Right. And what about the joys? Like, you've learned things, but there's got to be so many joys in being a business owner and being a woman-owned business owner as well.
You know, I thought about that question, and you know, sometimes it's the bad things that pop right up to your mind.
It's
but
true.
I love business. I love the puzzle of it. You know, you set a goal and you try and figure out how to get yourself there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But, you know, it's obvious that customers are my favorite part. I'm in the hospitality business. And I've made really great friends. So, you know, that would be my number one. Number two would be just, you know, doing business. I love being active in the city. I love contributing to the economic growth of Fredericksburg. And I love having my family. You know, we make decisions together. We, you know, marketing ideas come out of 10-year-olds. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of joys.
Yeah, definitely. And any other challenges besides COVID?
And the supply chain? That's it for the moment, you know.
Yeah. But over the years, I mean, 15 years.
Yeah. You know, we've had numerous economic challenges. 2008, you know, there has been a number. And customers have come through, you know, during COVID. They saw what it was doing to businesses and they showed up.
Yeah.
We were doing what we could to cut costs, to make it, and then they were doing what they should do. And that was great. It's not for everybody, but it's for us, so it's good.
And then, you know, in March it is International Women's History Month, so that's a big deal. Are you doing anything special, you know, as you are giving back to women-owned farms?
Well, we are doing promotions.
Okay.
Bags of coffee. We take $1 from every bag of coffee that people buy, and put that into a fund to fund another grant. Mostly, I want people to recognize that I've never been like a feminist or pushing women above anything else, just equal.
Yeah.
I just want the same price for those women and to have the same opportunities. You know, so many of those women can't even own land. You know, so they have no assets. They have nothing that they can hold on to make things better. And so those are things that just need to change. You know, those countries, they got to figure it out. But if we provide them the education, then they can.
And to endure certain things that they have to experience in the process as well.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
tragic.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go in and do something for somebody. They need to figure that out for themselves.
Right.
But we need to provide them the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly. And a little fun fact is you're talking about Mo Brew and how it's delivery, which is very, very fun. Talk about Doordash for me.
Well, it's not really Doordash.
However.
So 30 years ago, when I was young, I had an idea of doing a delivery service. And we actually launched it in Phoenix, Arizona. It was in business for about 2.5 years. We actually had ovens that we had in our car that were run on sterno, and we contracted with 11 restaurants to deliver their food to homes, offices, hotels, all that sort of stuff. And now, to make things really silly, okay, there was a food critic in Phoenix that her word was God.
Yeah.
I mean, a restaurant either made it or didn't make it based off her word. Well, she wrote an article about us, and at the end of the article, it said, if you want a menu booklet, because we published the restaurant's menus
Okay.
in a little booklet and told you how to order and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You literally write a letter to us, and we would mail you a menu booklet. Okay, so this totally dates it, okay? Businesses, restaurants that wanted to be part of it were allowed to call us, and the number was on there. Do you know I had 500 letters asking? I mean, nobody called. It was, it's so different from now. But it was before its time.
And then they had to wait too. I mean, if you mail a letter
then
it gets there and then they have to wait for the book.
Yeah.
So they obviously weren't trying to order tomorrow.
We did deliver within 30, 40 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, back in the day too, that was a big thing, especially for pizza places. 30 minutes or less, I remember as a kid, and I'd get on my mother all the time if the pizza wasn't there in time.
Yeah. That's when they would give it to you for free. But, also back in those days, the packaging was all styrofoam.
Okay.
And so the sterno heat, if it was too hot,
would melt it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had our challenges.
Yeah. But that probably makes it a breeze nowadays for you to do Mo Brew.
So easy, yeah.
And where can people find that if they want to order coffee? Because I know that's, everybody orders everything these days.
Right.
Where can they find it?
So www.mobrew.us is our website.
Okay.
And you can still go to 2530 Espresso website. It will link you over. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can get a bag at any of our cafes. So
Perfect. Yeah. And if there's something that you would want people to know about your brew besides being supportive of women-owned farms, is there anything that you would say highlights it compared to others?
Everybody's got their own taste.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest thing would be to challenge people to take some time and come have a pour over or a Chemex and learn to taste the flavor notes. There's more flavor notes in coffee than wine. Mm-hmm. And it's a great experience. You can truly, my husband is a cream and sugar person. So I get it, it's fine. However you like it, you like it. Mm-hmm. But you would be amazed to taste strawberry and blueberries and cashews, flavor notes in these coffee. Now, they're not going to be like you're eating a strawberry, but the subtle notes of it are there. And it's fun. It's wonderful. Yeah. Coffee is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
It has tons of health benefits.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know about as much as I drink it, but growing up, I grew up Italian. I think I mentioned that to you. So, we always had a pot of coffee on at all times. I'd go to family functions and there was always a pot of coffee. And so I grew up just loving it. For me, it's a cup of relaxation. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, have their preference of whether it's tea or their own favorite beverage. And for me, it's coffee. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel like anything's possible.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I asked this question, too, to all of my guests. At UMFS, we pride our families, we pride our staff, we pride our youth, our communities as being unwavering champions. So how would you rate yourself as being an unwavering champion?
60?
Yeah, but
I would love to be more.
Yeah.
I try to focus everything on how is this going to benefit? Who is it going to benefit? Mm-hmm. How could we make it better? We support a lot of different foundations around Fairy Godmother Project, SPCA, schools, a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
And we look for those opportunities to give back. You know, I wish that I had the resources that larger companies have and could do more, but we do all we can. So, you know, not perfect, but
Nobody is.
a work in progress.
And everybody has a passion, you know, everybody's put on here, in my opinion, this is my opinion, but put on here for a reason, you know, and yours is to do great work that you're doing. You know, we all have something different, which makes us so unique.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that I haven't shared that you'd love our listeners to hear?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Please come try the coffee.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful staff, and they really care about what they do. So, you know, come in, have a seat.
Yeah, and
Enjoy.
relax. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
bring a friend, catch up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Mo. It's been so nice to have you here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was a
of
joy.
course. Thank you. This is Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. Of course, to learn more about becoming a foster parent, please visit www.umfs.org/foster. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. Tune in at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Join us again next week for our next episode.
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.